Good morning, everyone. Dun, 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 dun. Hopefully, everybody had a fairly decent Monday yesterday. Just give me a minute. I'm still trying to get everything set up here. Awesome. I'm pretty sure we have some news this morning. What is it? 8 o'clock, I think, or I'm sorry, 10 o'clock. We'll get her brought out over here. Good morning, trader. I think we looked at this yesterday. We do have a little bit of news, so hopefully I think how I'm gonna play the news today is I'm gonna wait for the news to settle down and see if we can get like that 50% pullback on that candle. Trader, did you take any more trades yesterday evening? Or is oh shoot. Be right back. Forgot to bring my coffee. Okay. Just what we did earlier that day. Today we're gonna make sure we don't start out with on minis like we did yesterday morning. Yeah. Dude, we actually broke that 519 last night. We dipped below it. Kind of that Adams false breakout. Yep. Man. Let's see. I kind of feel like we push up today. We have a huge 4 hour fair value gap up there that needs to be filled in. And we kind of did the same thing yesterday where, we thought we were moving down because we had a huge fair value gap on the 4 hour to the downside and we filled it in. So maybe this will be a day that we, push back up to the 20,000s again. Ah, Trader, do you make more money? Do you do, I'm not saying as far as money goes, but do you do better on the ES or do you do better on the NASDAQ? Oh, okay. Yeah, looks like we had a little bit of pump starting out. Man, do we go long early? Put a stop loss down at the pivot. Hmm. So I think we might get that same type of range we got yesterday, where we're probably going to be trading between the 55 and 60, or 55.19 to 55.60. I feel like that's still going to be our range. How are your 250K funded accounts coming along? Dang it! I keep for some reason I keep making my ES chart disappear. Okay. Well, I'm not really sure what kind of points that we usually get out of the consumer confidence. What are the I haven't looked, see, I don't ever even look at those higher accounts besides that 85. How much do you got to make on that 150 account? Is that when you just got to make like 6,000? Okay, 9K, then you probably got what, a 4,000 or $5,000 that you can lose. Oh, I guess I need to adjust my Okay. For some reason, I feel like it's like 50% of that. So I feel like it's like 4,500 or something. Heck, I can look it up real quick. Shoot. So you get a $5,000 trailing threshold. So yeah, profit goal 9,000, trailing threshold 5,000. Yeah, I definitely do see that the difference between that 250K and that 100K. I feel like it's a lot better because the 250K, you got to make 15 grand where you only get a $6,500 um, loss. So yeah, definitely the 150 is a lot better as far as profit and how much you can lose goes because that's not even half. I feel like your threshold trail down should be like 8,000 or 7,500 for the 15K. All right, guys, we have less than 1 minute before the market opens. Just remember, we do have news in 30 minutes, so be careful. Don't get trapped in a trade. I'm going to do my best to try to stay out of the market until after the news play. Not going to make any promises because I tell myself that I'm going to do that all the time, and the FOMO takes over. All right. Unless maybe we get I think if we push to the VWAP on the ES, I'm thinking maybe we get at 519 bounce. Now that could be kind of enticing there. We can get that fail breakout on the 519. Then that'll also put us kind of at the VWAP on the NASDAQ. You're kind of looking at the 509. Yeah, I know we so down past that, but man, maybe, what are you thinking? Maybe a fail breakout down to the 09, 012, then push back up through maybe? Yeah, sometimes I feel like this early morning trade like this is more of the gambling mentality. I feel like our trades are a lot better after the 10 o'clock hour. Man, that's some pretty whipsawy action over there on the NASDAQ. I do like that both sides of the markets are on the opposite sides of the VWAPs, because it seems like lately they usually start out on the opposite sides. So if we do break that 519, we could have a swift move down. Let's see. It really didn't sell that well. Kind of looks like when it came back and tested it for the second time, it looks like a pretty swift move down, because it kind of looks like it went from 19 all the way down to the 14s. Man, if I held my trade yesterday to that 30, I guess we would have reached it, but I didn't want to hold it that long. Hopefully, there's not really any issues with the Apex today. I think I've heard several people yesterday talking about ghost orders, where it was throwing people in trades that didn't even take them. When I first started trading, this is kind of what I would trade the first 15 minutes. I would just look for like 10 points, but I would be so over leveraged that all it takes is one bad day to kind of ruin my week. Yeah, good luck to anybody that's trading this. Oof. I'm kind of feeling like the market's really not going to offer a lot until after 10, until after the 3 star news. Is anybody in? Is anybody trying to trade this first thing this morning, or is everybody being hopefully patient and waiting? Hopefully later today we can you're waiting sniper style. That's a pretty good one. I like that one. Waiting sniper style. I like that. Uh, I'm trying to get to that level where I can be patient and wait sniper style. I've been like trying to be more patient and wait for like that big like 40 point plus move. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I just feel like jumping into something like this, you just get your account chopped up. Unless you're just going in low risk, that's probably the only way I would recommend jumping in this. Like jumping in with 1, 2 micros at the most. Oh wow, I didn't see the Fed speak on there. Let me well, I got it still pulled up over here. Let's take a go over here. I think the Fed's well, they do have a Fed governor. Cook speaks. Um, oh, is it this Dallas Fed Service Reserve revenue? Not really sure who that is. So the Fed member that does speak, which is member Bowman, he speaks at 2:15 today. The big news that we're going to get today, Baldwin, is going to be the consumer confidence report, and that's in 20 minutes. I mean, we had a 40-point move down off the pivot. You know, if that's something that if you're interested in this kind of whipsawy action, you would have just had to hold through some of this stuff, and hopefully, you had the money in your account to withstand that. How was your trading day yesterday, Baldwin? Did you have a pretty good day? I couldn't remember if you said or not, or were you just kind of sitting back watching? I know we had some pretty big moves yesterday. Now, are you talking about the eco lows that just happened now, trader? That's right. I remember you saying that yesterday about trading the Asian. Mm. You know what? I forgot to look at the previous highs and lows of London. I usually try to get that picked out, and I just totally forgot this morning. That is one huge 4 hour gap. 4 hour fair value gap. I mean, that was a nice little move up for, anybody who was willing to take that. Because, I mean, what was that? Another 90 all the way up. So a 50-point move almost. So the overnight London highs is going to be sitting up at the 850s. So maybe we'll run the overnight highs. Then there's that possibility of a push back down to the 700s. It's Man, the bounce off that pivot was crazy. Sitting there like about the 37, 38. All right, so we are got the top of our 15-minute opening range, which is sitting at about the 40s and the 90s. And so we will try to use those as far as maybe some entries later on today. Usually after a big wick candle like that, most of the time we get a push up because usually that means the bears could not push it down. Usually the bulls take over. Yeah, so if you're just joining us, we're really not taking any trades right now. We're just trying to wait for the news to kind of be over. Yes, man. See, it's pretty tempting to take this. I just don't want to. If this was probably after the 10 o'clock hour, I would probably look for a long above this pivot here into the 90s. But since we're only 10 minutes away from the news, we're just going to stay out of it. It'll be like maybe a good little scalping play if you're looking for like 5 or 10 points or something like that. Then, if it makes it to the London highs, that's where I would start taking my trade off because more likely we could reverse after we break the London highs from overnight. So that would have been a nice little scalper. It almost got to 50. Yeah, so you would at least got your 10 points if you had took a play above the pivot. And sometimes I like to see that, like where we hit the pivot, the Bears try to push it back down. They even tried twice and failed. And once it got back above the pivot, that's where I would have, would have liked to went long for 5 or 10 points. Look at that. We broke we broke that London high and sold right back off. Kind of has that feeling like we want to, continue selling down, just kind of like we have the last, couple days. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is whenever we have news early in the morning, and it kind of puts that 50 point, like huge like candle, and it just kind of messes up the charts a little bit, and you have to kind of wait for them to get settled back out. Nice, Cal. Which prop firm did you use, Cal? Okay, with the 50K Top Step. So are you going to be using the Top Step X, the trading platform? Yeah, just do your best starting out. Whenever you're starting out with the prop firms, is try not to over leverage. That's usually probably some of the biggest issues with new traders and prop firms. A lot of times you over leverage because you get in a hurry to get that to that next level. And a lot of times you can tell because you can kind of see how many accounts people go through because they number those accounts. Yeah, the only reason whenever I started when I started trading, it was, this, like I said, this was in 2022. Whenever I started doing this on a regular basis, Top Step was still like $50 to get an eval, and I wasn't looking for anything that expensive when I started out. I was trying to look for something as cheap as possible. So eventually, we ended up moving to Beulah Knox and Trader Vate. Yeah, I want to say they're usually $29 now, so they've gone down quite a bit. They used to be $50. I want to say they started getting a little cheaper whenever they started pushing their what is that called? Their Top Step X platform, which is similar, I guess, to TradingView if you've been using TraderView. So I've chose to stay out of the market until after the 10 o'clock this morning, Kyle. We're waiting for the news play. I may try to look for a 50% pullback on the news candle if we get, like, say, a 60, 70 point move this morning at, say, at 10 o'clock, and maybe jump in for a pullback. Yeah, so we got about 7 minutes left. I don't really recommend. I don't do it. Usually if I do news play, like it's a planned event where I'm look. Usually it's whenever Apex or Beulah Knox maybe he's got some 90% off or something, where I'm willing to risk say 15, $16 to get to a funded account. But if it's one of their more expensive ones where I got to pay like 30, $40, I'm not going to YOLO one of those usually out the gate because I'm not usually a huge gambler. So I feel a lot more comfortable doing that with the 90% off counts. Then I don't think I've ever done it with a funded account. I've never YOLO'd a funded account as far as news goes. I know some of the prop firms, they allow you to do that. So we're just going to sit here and be patient. And really, this move from the 790s really wasn't a bad move because we almost pushed down there to bounce off that 519, which is a major support for the ES. And we kind of went up from there about 40, 50 points. So that was a 519 break. And we could probably get a push through that 519, but it's not going to be like a normal push, like where we just sit here and watch it go through. Either that or we will look for a fail breakout where we push below the 519 and then pull back up. And if the ES loses this 519, it's probably going to sell quick. It'll probably go really quick, like say 5, 6 points real quick. So how well have you been doing with the inversion trades, Cal? Have you been doing pretty good with those? Are you talking about with the trading view? It's not giving you the live data. Ooh, is this going to be the pump before the dump? Since I had such a pretty good Monday, I just don't really want to be in a hurry to go back in the hole. So some of those prop firms will let you do this, Cal. They'll go buy like multiple 90% accounts and send one long and send one short, and they'll front run it. So a lot of times they'll expect say 50 or 60 points out of the news, and they will front run it. What that means is they would put their resting order say up here around the 50s, and then they're looking for the market to go up to the 90s, and then they would kind of do the same thing at the bottom where they will put it maybe at a support line. Let's just say right here is kind of where it's been kind of bouncing. They put it down here, then look, do the opposite. And sometimes people will do that so they don't have to spend all that time to go through the eval process. But you also need to have some kind of trading strategy that you can get to a payout, because once you get to your funded account, they don't really allow that. But I think Top Step does. I think Top Step allows the news plays where you can YOLO at news and they won't question it. All right, guys, less than 30 seconds here. Looks like the market wants to push down, but just remember some of these atom numbers, those are sometimes little fake outs. Yeah, I always like Top Step. To me, it was just more or less, use a little as money as possible when starting out. Well, this news is definitely not offering that huge move like we would think it would. So it's, what is that, 20 points maybe? Unless this is a delayed news. Kind of wouldn't mind seeing a little push up to maybe pull back and test this 15-minute opening range, and maybe we can look for a trade off that unless it just goes. Doesn't look very, very strong pushing up. Or maybe take a short below the take me a short below this pivot here and see if we can get a push down. Whew, the bulls came back strong. After I saw that big wick, I thought definitely we would move back down. Now, if this wick can't break this wick, more than likely we will be pushing back down. Let's see here. Yeah, this was a kind of a dirty candle where, going long, then it pulled back 25 handles, then pushed right back up. That's an account killer there. So whenever we do finally find an entry, we're just going to jump in with one micro. We're not going to jump in extremely heavy until we're sure that we're going in the right direction. I like that we're above the VWAP on the ES, so that's usually a fairly stable sign. Usually, if the ES can find support above the VWAP. I'm gonna try my best to be patient and wait for hopefully a 15-minute opening range test. Usually, we get those quite a bit throughout the morning. Trader, did you take that failed breakout of the 519 on the ES? No, still waiting. Okay. I know. I hated that failed breakout was right before news, so it definitely made it a little tougher to be a part of that. Nice. What'd you do, Ball, when you took it as we broke this wick here? Yeah, I mean the Nasdaq is moving up, but it's moving up very weakly looking. It looks like it's like struggling. Every candle looks like a struggle. All right, so either we will get a pullback here or we're going to continue down. Maybe a pullback, you can maybe look for entry, kind of draw you a little trend line, see if you can take the trend breakout. But it just looks so weak moving up. It hasn't really moved up with any confidence. Like, like even if you jumped in, like every candle, it's like the bulls and bears were just fighting for it to move higher. I mean, even this, I mean, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning and it's like it's just struggling. We'd had a little support in this area, so I was kind of just pulling back to see what we had. Kind of wait to see what happens at this 28 on the ES. We had a little bit of support there at the 28 this morning. Well, it's one of the Adam Manzini's levels. If I could see an area for us to push, it'll be from here to here. This is kind of like some support levels that we had yesterday. Nice, Drew. Were you already in before news, or did you get a so 70 points? I mean, it had been, man, you got in early. Fair value gap before news. So it would have been, I'm assuming this one here. Yeah, I'm on the 2 minute here. Yeah, I feel like since we had a pretty good Monday of trading, we don't have to be overly in a hurry to find a trade today. I was hoping we would get a push up and pull back and test this 15-minute opening range, but don't know if we're going to get that opportunity this morning. So we're sitting at a pivot at that 28 level. A lot cleaner on the 1 minute. I've only been using 2 minute lately just because I've been using the 2 minute candles where I just follow the 2 minute candles up on like runners. I like that we're finding support at the pivot. So this may be a push up to the 34s. There was very tempting on that one. I wonder if this will be our pushback down to the 15-minute opening range. So we did have a little bit of a 2 minute fair value gap there. You could have probably checked the 1 minute if you want. I didn't really offer much on the 1 minute. I guess we did have a little one here on the 1 minute. Trying to see where we could possibly go. There's a huge fair value gap over here on the ES that we're kind of bouncing out of. So we hit basically the bottom of that fair value gap and at the VWAP. All right, so the top of that 15-minute opening range is going to be right there at the 840s. So I'd like to see us maybe bounce off of this or get in a roundabout general area for a bounce for us to move back up. It's always not 100% that, most, like I said in the past, most of the days, whatever 15-minute range that we break, most of the times we stay above that 15 minutes for that day. Even though, if, like, let's just say like yesterday, how we broke the bottom first, then we pulled back up, we broke the top a little bit, but eventually we went back to the bottom and sold off for the rest of that day. Yeah, so just trying to get an idea how high we could go up. Whenever I also take my trade, I'm just going to be taking it on one micro just to make sure that I have the right direction picked. So we won't be going in heavy. kind of want to jump in this, but I also want to see what happens with the ES because we're kind of stuck at the 28. So, and that's kind of where we bounced a little bit. And unless we get through that 28, so this is kind of where we're stuck at on the ES. So unless the ES can get above the 28 and find some momentum, we're just going to be stuck. Oh, goodness. Oh, excuse me. Sounds like a methodical man are taking this 2 minute over here. Cal, whenever you take your failed inversion gap trades, how many points do you look for? Wow, that thing turned around quick. Okay. Oh man, this definitely feels like a Monday feel. So unless you got this, to me, I feel like this was probably the cleanest move up. And the only reason why I wasn't taking any trades this morning was because we were just 15, 20 minutes away from news. And, you know, there's never no guarantees of us moving that high and that fast. It looks like we also have equal highs here. Up at the 31s on the ES. So you would think that we would clean those up before, you know, if we're going to move lower first. Trader, you still been patient and waiting on your entry? Oh, you're long? The only place I was looking at a long while ago and I couldn't pull the trigger, it was probably in the 60 range here off of this huge wick. But I just couldn't pull the trigger. Okay, so yeah, you probably got long about the place I would have been looking then. Okay. Actually, I probably would have looked for my long around the 65 if I was going to take that long. I feel like we definitely could hit the 30s to 60. Well, I'm sorry, up here at the 31s where we have equal highs on the ES. Okay. Adam's calling 42 to 50. Yeah, I really like that 65 range. I mean, it seems like we've offered multiple opportunities to get long there.
Order filled.
I'm just going to jump in on this one micro and see if we can take it up to the 20. I would think we'd at least clear these equal highs up here. I may come back and get us. I'll just put it right below that body. If it comes down, we'll just look for another entry. We're still kind of struggling to get through that pivot on the ES at the 28. All right, so it looks like our, well, I'd much rather have my stop loss way down here, but it's way too far. Yeah, that's on standard pivot. That's kind of where we're getting stuck is at that 28. I saw us go through that 28, so I thought we were going to continue, and literally it just reversed right off of that. This is the candle I was looking at when I got long. I thought we were going to continue through up to those equal highs up here, but the pivot just does not want to let loose.
Stop filled.
All right, so our first trade was just for $40. So we'll look for another entry, and we should be able to get that back fairly quick. Shouldn't be a big deal. So this is why I've been kind of just entering on one micro to make sure I get my right direction. Then we can add to the direction. Kind of like similar to yesterday. I feel like the more adequate stop loss should have been down at the 65s, but that was just way too much. So what Trader G was talking about, this 55.28 is our standard pivot. Golly, am I going to take the fake out again above this freaking thing? Looking a little stronger this time. But all it does is take the ES just to reverse on a dime, then it brings the ES, the NASDAQ back down so quick. Look at that. Thing reversed. Trader, have you taken any of your profit yet? Or are you still holding all your contracts? I don't know, man. Trader 28 just does not want to give it up this morning. All right, so we're testing that pivot one more time. That's kind of where I got faked out last time. It was on this candle here. See how we pushed all the way up to the 31s. I thought we would at least get above like 32, 33s, kind of bust this equal highs up. But it didn't work. All right, so here we go again. Yeah, I'm trying to find me one more entry. We should at least get back to break even plus some if we can find a decent entry. Or maybe an entry with the minimum risk. I think yesterday we probably took 3 trades before we finally got that long short yesterday, but we made quadruple our money back. I like that the 25s are holding up and the fact that the 65s and 70 range is still holding. Methodical man, the rock over there. So this line that we have marked out right here, this is a fair value gap on the 2 minute on the ES. This is kind of where we're finding support. And we also have the VWAP right below that. So if you're looking for a trade down, just know that you are probably going to run into a little bit of resistance at this 23. So until the market starts moving, we're just going to mainly probably stick to our eval here. We're still up fairly good. We're up. We were a little over 1,000, but we're still sitting at 992 on this 25K. So then we don't really have a Bulanox to trade. So right now, both of our Bulanox counts are at the funded level. I just have to pay for the activation fee. I really don't have a time, Cal. It just really depends if if we're getting a lot of movement and maybe some evening trades. I try to stay on as long as I can. But every now and then I have to get off is because if I stay on here, I'll start over trading so bad. That's the that YM. You said that's the German market. Oh, okay, Dow Jones. See, I've never traded Dow Jones either. So with the Dow Jones, if it's weak, does it also bring down like the Nasdaq and ES along with it, or do these markets bring down that market? Okay, so downs mostly goes against the NQ. Okay, so if the down is looking weak and possibly moving back down, the NQ is going to go up. Okay. So maybe this is where we can get a little bit of a VWAP bounce off the NQ, and maybe we'll keep our support line up here on the NQ, maybe look for entry off of this line here. Trader, this is almost what like Monday should feel like, where we're just consolidating basically first thing this morning at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Yeah, this is definitely tough to find an entry. It's like I want to look, like if you look for a short below this line, but you just don't know if it's going to be a fake out just because of all the support that we've had in this area. We've been just kind of bouncing out of this area for almost an hour. I mean, I feel like we definitely can push down to the 40s to test the test the top of the 15-minute opening range.
Order filled.
I'm gonna see if I can take this down to the 15-minute opening range. There's no promises. This is definitely a high risk trade. We're just gonna risk $14 to make what, 30.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
I thought if anything we would move down and kind of test at 19. This is kind of the range that I feel like we're gonna be trading all day, is between the 19 and 42, or 1942 up to 60. All right. So it looks like this line may not hold. The VWAP looks like we want to push that VWAP a little bit on the. If we can't continue moving down right here, I'll probably just end up closing this trade because it looks like it's just not weak enough to move down. So right now we'll be in this trade for $12 as long as it doesn't hit our sell order here. So if it pulls back up, stops us out, it'd just be for a $12 loss. All right, so this looks like it's going to probably come back and get us. I've gotten multiple opportunities to get out of this trade, but since we're in such low risk, it's not a terribly big deal. So if I was in it super heavy, I would probably already had closed this trade.
Order canceled.
All right. Trader, were you able to hold out on that long? Still holding that 62. Nice. I know. I kind of want to jump back in and see if this is the push up. But golly, I done tried it twice already. Like the NASDAQ is fine looking strong, but the ES over here is just looking, I don't know, it just looks blah. It just made the daily low. Trader, where's your profit target? Are you shooting for the 20s? Oh, all the way up to the 50s. Holy goodness. Yeah, I kind of know what you mean. I try to stay away from the small targets myself. I've been trying to get away from the scalping. So that's why I've been trying to enter the way I have been. Yeah, the ES has been stuck, man. That's what's been making it so tough for me to enter some of these trades. Is the ES has got me nervous.
Order filled. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Kind of see if we find support at the top of these candles here since we've struggled to move above those. Damn, ES is like, it looks like the ES just wants to sell right off. Guys, we are in for a one micro So I think the most that we can lose here is $40 if it comes back and taps us out. The only part right here where it looks like we get a possible pullback is to that 70s right here for that fair value gap. Actually, we may do that. That way, in case it wants to fill in that gap there. And there's no guarantees if it buys me in at this 08 that we're going to make it to the 17s or right at the 18s. Yeah, I know. It's been tough this morning, man. Yeah, I know. What scares me is we're at that freaking pivot range again. I don't know if I want to shoot for 10 or 5. Like, man, this. This is.
Order canceled.
All right. I know that's what I'm talking about there, guy. It took me a couple times of getting in that thing, but we kept our losses low, so we were able to get it back. we had this marked out pretty much pre-market, so whew. AJ's like, return my chair. It can come back and get me now. I don't care. We're out. I was hoping we would push this pivot hard, but
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order filled. Order filled.
very. We had to get out of that one. I hate that we just crossed those double highs. I didn't know if we would reverse once we crossed those equal highs up there. So we probably would have at least got 5 more points, but I've been in that trade long enough for myself. So we had to make a little bit of our P&L back. We're going to end up with 106 out of that trade, just trading micros. We were down $48 or $50 from those previous trades earlier. So thank you, Roman. Nice trade. If anybody else was able to get in that one, too bad we had to try it multiple times to get this trade. I know Trader G had the diamond hands. He's been in this trade since 62. So he's been in this trade for a while. Thank you, AJ. So since I only have one eval at the moment, we're not really trying to like put a lot of leverage on the table because we only need $380 to get this one to the funded, and that'll replace one of my funded accounts because I did lose because I had 3 funded with Apex, but we lost one. But see, I also have 2 funded with Bulanox, and I'm really not trying to get that many funded accounts at one time because it gets kind of pricey when you start and have to pay for all those things. And I've been just kind of slow grinding these other funded accounts. So we still need another $1,000 on this funded account to actually get a payout because we're not even going to keep this funded account. Once we get to $1,600, we're just going to take most of the profit out. We also have a pivot Trader G at this 45. Maybe if we get a pullback to this area here, we had a lot of support in this area from yesterday. So maybe we can use this for another possible entry. AJ, did you take the long also? Were you in there long? Long on the ES? Well, sometimes it's better to watch the long and get the FOMO and jump in too late. That's some of my old habits there. I'd sit there and, oh my God, it's going up 100 points. And I jump in, then it reverses 100 points. So we're just kind of watching to see what the pivot's going to do on the ES at the 28. Oh. I almost wish the ES would have stayed above the pivot. I would have liked this a little bit better. We find support at that 20, find support at the 28 for maybe that move up to that 42 on the ES. Let's see what we have for tomorrow as far as news go. To news really didn't really offer a lot today. So tomorrow we have new home sales and crude oil. If anybody here trades oil, I know I've heard some people say they trade oil and gold. And we also have a Fed speaker. That's tomorrow evening. Then we have the 5-year note auction. Sometimes we get a little movement like 2 minutes after on that one. Mm. Trader, are you still trying to hold a 50 or did you get out of that? Man, it's like you're so close to that 100-point move. It's almost like tough to get out of the trade. Oh, you closed it. I don't blame you. That's why I had my initial target profit at 40 because I'm assuming we would find some rejection at that pivot there at the 45s. I'm not sure how much of a big move that someone would have gotten, but that 20 range definitely looked like a pretty good bounce area. I almost need a coffee break after that trade just to try to get something out of the market. It's tough this morning. Kind of makes me nervous to even take some more trades because I feel like I'm gonna be over trading and lose. I don't even have that much profit yet. We only got $100, but we are up $1,100 on the account. But just haven't really made a lot because we had to make back the $50 we lost earlier. You have a what? I do. Oh yeah, I do. As a C in that one. I just noticed that. That shows you how much I look at the freaking thing up there. It's dick count, man. Come on, you don't get that dick count. You're under the you're under the desk. You should know all about that dick count. Oh shit. Oh shoot. What is my S and C? I don't know what I did when I was doing that. What it is, I have to change that thing so many times, I guess, because they constantly they constantly you constantly have to update it because of, they constantly changing percentages and crap. Let's see. Uh, let's see. I must do this because I've used this thing over and over. So ain't no telling how long that crap's been like that. All right, we'll fix it. All right. Whew. There ain't no telling how long that's been like that. So we're just going to be kind of patient and wait for our second setup, or maybe find a good support and resistance area. I think if I was going to look for a short, I'm going to wait for us to get below the 20s. Below the 20s, and also the ES below the 28s. Yeah, that would be nice too for us to move back up. If you look to the left, you can see that we have tons of support over there. This is kind of where I had this marked off at. I think I even have no. Oh, this right here is a 4-hour fair value gap way to the left over here. I forgot where it was. It was way back over there. Let's see. Kind of looks like. Then for my longs, I'm gonna look for above this pivot. Maybe we find support at this pivot. Then hopefully, like Adam was saying, that we possibly could push up to the 42s. I'm just gonna put these this way. If I try to add to our position, I know not to add going into this area here or this area here. I would either try to do it in between. So if we got long here, I would not add anything past 65. So it would have to be in this area here if I was going to add to my position. Or either that, or we would wait till we got above the 80s. Oh man. Trader, I think all we're doing now is waiting on the roof to get fixed, and hopefully that our other house will be ready for our daughter to move back in. How many points did you take off that, AJ? Man, I really want to start taking some trades off the ES. I haven't taken trades off the ES in probably over a year. Oh goodness.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer before you commit, price check with Pascal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopascal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Pascal price check. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
No, you guys can do whatever you want. I don't have a no ban policy. I just try not to, right? It's not a matter of like not wanting to. I just try to be, give as much rope as I can. But like I just said, I'm also like.
All right, guys. Hopefully, it's probably time to chill and hang out for a minute. I don't feel like the market's probably going to offer us anything for a little bit. I feel fortunate enough that we even got that out of the market. I thought it was just going to be a super choppy day. It almost has that Monday feel because yesterday's Monday was pretty good. I feel like we had good movement yesterday, but today.
I don't pay for my market data. It comes with whatever company. And it should come with yours. I mean, I guess it depends on what platform you're trading on. But I do pay for market data from TradingView for like $7 a month. So. Oh, he's there.
Damn you, methodical man. Oh, shit.
But I'm like in and out. I'm in and out.
Did Nutty trade today?
What time is it? Oh, guys,
get on out of here, methodical man. You're going to get banned.
I mean, down $25 on this one account. I don't feel too bad about it. I mean, I think it's fine. Still need like 275 to get that thing across the payout. Like I said, if we find
you should be a mod. I don't think I can make mods. I thought you had to have like 500 subscribers or something to do that.
So we'll just see.
No? Okay. Yeah, see, I don't know much about that, man.
Around here coming into lunchtime. We might get that Kid Poker.
Just right click on their name.
Reversal is a thing. Maybe we get that
Let's see.
lunchtime reversal.
Oh, shoot.
Retest that whole number. And get you out of here.
Yeah,
let me check on a few other people's. Yeah, we have a divergence.
oh, you have to do it in YouTube Studios. I thought you could do it in the chat. I was sitting over here in YouTube. Oh, this is a. Oh, left click. Oh, okay. I was hitting the right click and it wasn't doing nothing.
In all honesty, trading is the hardest job career. I think so.
Put users in timeout.
It's pretty tough.
Okay. That's kind of funny.
All right, let's go check on Nutty. Anybody watch? How did Nutty do today? Oh, he's still alive. Let's see.
All right, we made a Trader G a mod. That way you can put AJ in timeout if AJ smarts mouse him again.
Futures Trader Morales. What up? Different account, Naz.
No more under the desk action here.
pull it back, Nas. That's all it is. Got to pull it back, man. Everybody don't want to hear that. So just reel her in a little bit. Oh, Alpine had a really good day. Let's check. I didn't check on Kiambra. Small red day.
Yeah, I remember you had mentioned that. I usually you wouldn't say that to, I wouldn't think, to someone you don't know. I'd figure if you probably know him either personally or you've traded with him for a long time or something, just being sarcastic and fun.
Grinding right here going into lunch. Oh yeah, there he is. I try to be Chip. I'm
Oh,
probably
okay.
the most patient people that you will ever meet, but especially when it comes to yeah, well, some things in life.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the same what, me and Methodical Man. We're always super sarcastic to each other.
Who said that? Fred. He's Fred. Fred's trolling. Oh, yesterday. $256. Let's go, John.
So if we ever can get above this pivot, above the 50s, I will definitely be looking for a trade up to the 200s or 180s.
Waking up early on a Tuesday. Or no, I guess you've probably been working, huh? Zero Day J, I watched the video about you passing an account yesterday. Is that a new account?
Does he still work at your same job that where you used to work? Or neither one of y'all work there no more?
Yeah, I did see you just stopped streaming 4 hours ago, it said. Which would have put it, what, like 7? So your time, that would be like 4 a.m.?
What is the UK / like London's retirement age over there? Is it pretty much the same as US, or do you guys, like, I think my retirement age, is still, good 20 years away, but
Oh, that was a couple of weeks ago.
okay. 67 is standard retirement there. Okay. I didn't know if it was younger. That's the way it is here too.
That's all we're asking.
I think they keep trying to move it up for the younger generation. I'm hoping I'm kind of locked into that 60. I think I could do part-time retirement at 62, and 67 would be full-time retirement.
Aren't you near Las Vegas or something?
Hopefully eventually one day I'll make enough money where, I don't have to have a job on the side. Oh yeah, I'm still 20 years away. still a good bit for myself.
You're in Vegas, yeah. One of my favorite places. My son was conceived in Vegas, Zero Day J. So don't let them tell you that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Yeah, Henderson, yeah.
So does is it AJ? Does he trade full time also?
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what happened. Well, no. Yeah, I remember JX. I remember. She was on. She was taking the medication, the pills, and they got all out of whack while we were there.
Okay, nice.
The days, the days, they tend to go together when you're in Vegas.
Man, today you definitely just have to be patient and wait on your trades. The consolidation areas that we've had this morning has been lasting like an hour.
Last Friday,
We had the same type thing down here earlier. Like what? We started at about 9:05, went all the way to 10 o'clock, 10:05 before we got to move. And the move lasted roughly about 20 minutes. And now we're approaching the 11 o'clock hour and we're still consolidating. So today you definitely have to have patience.
Let's put our biggest P&L up here for everyone to see. We're up $1,700. Oh yeah, Walter, I love the food there. They pump the oxygen. Yeah, I say that all the time. 0 day, I say that all the time. That's why it always looks daylight in there too. Next time you promote your course, it'll be free on YouTube. Let's go. Oh.
Yeah, I think just for me to even, trade part time. I mean, I trade full time, but I also have to work part time. But I had to pretty much get all my debt paid off. I paid off my vehicles. The only thing that I really have as far as we do have a mortgage, but with owning multiple homes, we're able to use the other mortgage off of the second house to help pay for the first house.
To move higher, probably. We could move lower. Who knows? But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I was really thinking that we were going to push up to 42 on that last run. I thought maybe we would push up and find support at that 42. But maybe since we're finding support at this 28 at this other pivot, that, so if we can get moving above that pivot, this is why I think if I look for a long, I'm going to look for a long above this pivot over here.
Separating to that makes sense. I really enjoy Vegas. A lot of fun.
Whew.
I'd say probably half.
Is it going to go now?
We didn't even go outside. I flew in, drove to the casino, which is where I was staying, and I never left the casino. Played poker.
I'm going to put it on there. I might have prematurely went a little early, but we're just going to use this pivot as our stop loss. So we're risking maybe $12. What is that? 51, 6, $14. So we're not risking a lot.
That's kind of what I was just saying. Like the first couple of times, it was like, let's go do everything, and then like the next 10 times, it was like, let's do what we came here to do.
So I won't really consider adding to my order unless we get above here, where I feel like maybe we're going to move into that 4-hour fair value gap up here.
Timothy's a barber. All right, let's do it, Timothy. But if you mess me up, everybody's going to know. Well, you're from New York, so I'm sure New York to like Vegas, right? You lived in New York, I think you said that, right? Or Jersey or something. I can't remember exactly, but man, that's a pretty big change, I would imagine, in kind of the weather and a whole bunch of stuff, right? Long Island. Okay, gotcha. See, there's the breakout.
So if you were scalping the pivots, you probably could at least get anywhere between 5 to 10 points off of this pivot range.
You're going to Asia.
Yeah, but I don't go in very heavy. You got to think, dude, I'm only in for $12, $14, one micro.
Yeah, you got a lot of hot temperatures, but like, I mean, it's not bad, right? It's not like super humid weather.
Oh, doing a nutty begging for the 35. Okay, it took me a minute. Begging for the 35.
I never like to take the first breakout. I mean, if we get some sort of retest here and hold, then maybe
we're gonna start talking to it in a minute. Like, come on, 35. Come on.
I love to watch. I don't think you have anything to do with poker, from what I heard you say the other day, but I love to watch Daniel Negreanu's blog. He has a little daily vlog he does during the WSOP. Well, ES is kind of rejecting that 31 level there. This might just be a little fake up before the lunch hour. Yeah, market's pumping 0 day. Like it seems like every sell, every pullback's kind of being bought right now. So yeah, I like Doug Polk too, but I don't think he lives in. Does he live in Vegas anymore? I think we're going to 2030. It's my opinion. you're up already on this last time Sabo box trade. Let's go.
I still feel like we're going to probably run in some resistance here at the 67, 68 range. Then we also have the 80.
Georgia plays Texas.
So
In I'm not sure when we played them this year, but I'm going to go to that game. I'm going to go there to that game to the University of Texas. I don't even know what city it's in. Was it in Austin? I think. So we're gonna go to that game. It should be a lot of fun. Win or lose, it'll be a lot of fun.
I feel like we're losing the momentum. Just this candle does not have a lot of volume in it. So may end up getting a pullback just because how much is struggling to move higher.
I'm from Georgia, northeast Georgia, Jads. I live just outside of Athens. Born and raised. This thing's just going higher. I don't know. I got the 2030 level marked out. I'm pretty sure that's where we're going. So what we'll do here, we need to put in a Tom Sabo guarantee. He's not here yet, but he'll be in later. Or Tom, what should we make Tom do this time? Leaving on the midnight train to Georgia. That's right. Oh, you're in Hamilton Mill? You're like 40 minutes away from me, M1. I worked in Hamilton Mill. I used to I installed internet for Comcast for like 7-8 years. Let me see what Tom should do. Tom Sabo guarantee, or what should we have Tom do? We had him yesterday. We had him marrying a goat. Let's see. Oh, we'll just make it simple. We'll make it simple because I know that his fiance doesn't like him with a beard. So it's not quite as funny, right? It's not as funny, but there you go. He needs to grow a beard. Coming up on the top of the hour here, we got 2 minutes from the shock of the hour.
Woo! It's struggling to move on up there.
We could make him shave his back. He's ready for a goat meetup. So what you do is you line the goats up. See, we hit the level yesterday with 3 minutes to go in the day, right? So you line the goats up and then you let them pick one. See which one he likes the best.
Someone tell Nutty that Dr. Disrespect was sending naughty texts to little teenage girls. At least that's the allegations. I don't know if it's true. That's just what they were saying.
All right, here we go. Coming up on the top of the hour, maybe we get a little retest of the.
Not a woman, Nutty, a teenage girl.
You don't like longs, but it's like you'll get stopped out of short. Yeah, I mean, like, there's a bear.
Okay, Nutty finally got it.
The only way that I could participate in that.
Oh wow, you're still holding your ES trade? Oh man, this stuff is tedious to hold through.
Close below this 2 minute, we might take it. Oh, let's see here. Norinda, this is Well, this 78.
We did get 10 handles. I mean, I guess if you were scalping the pivot, I mean, at least got 10.
Looking at the 2 minute. I don't know.
So we might run into some resistance right here. This is a support level back to the left from yesterday. And we also would have to get through the 80s if we're going to continue up because.
What's BVG best value gains?
And I think it was a little bit more heavy up here at the 80s than it. Let's see. Yeah, so we had a little bit more bouncing off of this 80 area yesterday.
I'm gonna kind of, I don't know. We'll take a little stab here on the eval only. Aggressive. Ooh, I don't. Ooh. Left equal lows there. Kind of late here getting in on this eval. Stops in, break even. See if we can go. Stop is in, break even. See if we can push the 70s. Target.
So we're going to need to see 51 to hold up. If we lose 51, we'll probably sell back down past the pivot a little bit.
Just kind of a breakout trade here. I don't normally take those that often, but if it goes, it goes. If it don't, it don't.
So like I said, if it comes back and stop us out, it'll be for $6, $7, $14 loss. I just don't want it to reach down and just tick us. We just want to see if this the pivot's going to hold up.
31 target hit exactly for the second time today. Always locking those gains level to level. Let a runner go. 19 to 22 remains the magnet from only level that matters. It's been an ATM machine for 3 days. Dip only below there. And do we? Oh, there might be a. Oh, guys, I might take this. I'm going to take this on my PA. Try to get some points out of this here. Let's get a little retest. This area here.
Starting to look a little weak.
Stop will go in quickly below those equal lows.
If I was in this trade for a lot deeper, whenever we were up 10 handles, we probably would have took some of our profit.
Let's go.
Because that's something I would similar do in the past where I would go in heavy. I would go in with like, say, 7, 8 micros, then just try to sell them off at 5.
Clean inversion on the 30-second chart here. Equal lows below. So that's why I took that.
But we have been just approaching our entries a little differently since we blew up one of our accounts 2 weeks ago.
Probably in the green. But let's see right here. $75. So a little $100 scalperini. Not huge, but
I feel like right here it's either going to go down or it's just going to come down enough to wick, stop me out, then move forward.
that right there.
Because the ES is finding support at that 28.
Not looking for a huge winner off that, but a little retest of the Sabo box makes a lot of sense there. We could still sell. I mean, certainly if we close below this, here, you most certainly probably see this wick down here, at 9:15. And also, if we measure this move from this wick, well, actually, I probably would go from this swing to this swing. Then that wick kind of lines up with OTE right there. See that? So that would be a good target. If we close below 939, I think we see 914, but we'll see. Tough here, tough. you knew 3 red days? Yeah. You never know. Tom Sabo, the legend. Is he here?
Oh, did Nutty get long or short?
He's still number 2.
Can't tell.
Number 1, numero uno. Oh, I don't know about that. tricky spot here. I mean, like every dip's been bought. That's why I took such a short target. I just took the obvious target, right? But I think this is the line in the sand here for me, like 940. Close below this, we see 914. We hold above this, we just see new highs. We'll see what happens. You're short from 57.50, take profit at 14. Yeah, I think that kind of makes sense, right, Jackson?
It still looks like it's struggling to move down. I mean, I just feel like we want to move back up.
Oh, that sucks, Shark. Hate to hear that. Yeah, OT, optimal trade entry, John. It's a ICT term, if you will. So basically, you just measure. Yeah, it's just a fib tool. So the 618 on your fib. You know. Now I'm picking this swing. Obviously, you could pick. I mean, you really could pick any swing, right? And if you pick just the most recent swing to the most recent swing, then a pullback into 943s makes sense.
Okay, so Nutty is long.
But I don't know. I try to look at it from like really for the entire move. Even if you do the entire move, this still lands just above the 50% mark, which I think makes this kind of like low-hanging fruit target.
Dang it.
If you are looking for a
Got to take
down,
the reverse trade.
may not get it, but we'll see. Donovan, I do trade over lunch. Yeah, I trade the entire day. So,
I mean, the ES still looks like it's a lot stronger. I mean, it looks like the ES is wanting to move up. I just feel like it's just going to come back and one tick me or tick me out, then move higher.
Nutty is long, looking for 57.50. So Nutty's looking for 57.50. Yeah, no worries, John. They look just like me, Gabriel. Well, you know. Yeah, I'm going to try to get.
All right, it's getting.
That's your short entry spot, 57.50, Jackson. Yeah, it is, isn't it? You did say that. So he wants you to go back to break even. His stop's at 37.50, which is just below my line in the sand. I think that's a decent spot for your stop, but.
Stop.
All right. So we lost about $16 on that trade, which wasn't too much. We can just look for our next entry.
Oh, your first TP is 33. Let's go. I think you get there. I mean, like, I want to see, like, if we get below this pivot right here at 44s, we might see that nice little red blood candle, the elevator that we like to talk about, kind of below this 40 area. We'll see. You don't have perfect LR here. You have some. You'd like to see more of these wicks down here. So it's not perfect, but there is some. You do have this Tom Sabo box consolidation holding us up. So that's why I think if we kind of get below this area, we move down to here pretty quickly. But got to get below. Got to close below that 39 first. You might see a little bit of speed here. Let's see if we get it. A little bit of speed. ES is through the pivot as well here.
We're going to get the elevator down. Holy crap, man.
Looks like it's about to roll down. I feel that way too. The pivot and the Tom Sabo box together. Yeah, Naz, make a video. We'll check it out. Let's see what happens. See, bouncing off the 39s.
I mean, if we can get in about the 40, we can risk 10, 12 bucks maybe for, what do you think, maybe another 20 bounce?
Trying to at least. Let's see if we get the elevator. Then I'm going to grab some food. Or it might be better for anyone that's short if I get up and go get food now, because then the elevator comes when I'm not at the desk here. I feel the elevator coming. Think the elevator's coming.
I couldn't pull the trigger, guys. Couldn't pull it. I was very tempting. Very tempting.
Go get lunch. Oh. Top 5 in the house. Oh, Nutty got stopped out. I gotta get a clean close below this 30. Below my magical yellow line there. That's what she said, yeah. Oh, we're doing good, Currency Goddess. Oh, that sucks. Oh, you're green? As long as you're green, it's all that matters. Yeah, end of day green. Call it a day. No need to do anything else. No elevators yet. I'm not seeing one. You do 1 mil a day, so this lunch talk is torture. Uh-oh, Alan. Sorry. Well, when I bring it in here and I show it to you, Alan, you best not be at the stream then. All right, here we go. Can't we close below? Here it comes, guys. Watch the ES here, because if it hits 25 right there at the VWAP before we touch 14, then you might get a little bounce, but it's coming. It's coming.
I think if I look for another short moving down, I'm gonna wait till we get past the 20s.
We'll see what happens.
And this should put us past the VWAP or something like that. Maybe from that area. I feel like 40 was probably my entry,
I think I'll stab on
and my stop loss would have been the pivot.
$200-300 on this.
But I just couldn't pull the trigger on it, so we're just going to sit here and watch with the rest of you guys, unless one of you guys got short with this at the pivot to move down.
25K Billinox. I use the option 2 on the 50K, but yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's essentially the same type of deal there. I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit at 27. We got equal lows right there, 27.75. So that's going to be my target for almost 10 points off my short entry here. And my stop will go to break even at 33. So once we breach 33, my stop will go to break even here on this short. Which is only 4.5 points for my entry, so might get stopped out there on that, but that's okay if we do. I want to see extension below 33, so. All right, now my stop
Is everyone else here still watching? Is anybody in a short or long? Are you caught in a bad trade at the moment?
Got equal lows right here, 27.75, so I'm expecting that to be hit here. When we start to bounce, I'll probably kill it, but I don't love my entry on this trade. I wish I was in for a little higher, but I think 27s get ran through here. Nah, we'll let it ride. If it stops us, it stops us.
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your store on a single integrated platform. Add products, showcase them dynamically, and seamlessly track your inventory. Accept multiple secure payments, and design your storefront down to the very last detail. Get all the tools you need. Drive more sales with customizable gift cards and flexible product subscriptions. Retain customers with a point-based loyalty program, email automations, and reach millions with sales channel integrations. Complete your setup with a personalized analytics dashboard. Make smart business decisions.
And it's intraday, so unrealized profits count against you. Option 2 is end of day drawdown, so unrealized profits.
So now we're kind of back to that consolidation box area.
Daily loss limit of $1,100. You still get $2,500 total, but you have a daily loss limit of $1,100. bigger moves and you don't want your unrealized profits to count against you, then you want to go option 2. But it's up to you. Well, here's the thing, top 5. Like, I think it's reasonable to think that we pull back, to some degree. I've already taken a short from up here, as you can see. So if this was my original entry, if I was still holding, we're up 26, 27 points. So the reason why I was a little bit, this is kind of your extra confirmation area once we close below this. So I think we run through the 27s at least.
So on the 1 hour chart, we did push. Maybe it looks like the 1 hour we may push back to the 1900s, 1908s. Looks like a possible destination.
Did bounce off the VWAP there. That's kind of this bounce that we got here. So I think a run through 27s here makes sense. If you're short from the 39, I'd scale at these equal lows and move my stop to break even. Because below these equal lows, we want to see speed. We want to see some speed down to the 14s. If it doesn't, if we don't get expansion below these lows, then that's bad news for the short, right? So it's kind of how I'd play it. But yeah, I think so too, top 5. I agree. But I'm just saying. You took option 1. If you got option 2 today, you would be blown. So there we go. So now I would scale and move, and we want to see expansion below this. We want to see this expand. That's what you want to see. That's going to give you confidence in the fact that it might make it to the 14s. So let's see a little bit of a boner candle down. Looking okay. Nutty took another long. What's he doing? Now see that we didn't get expansion there. That's worrisome, right? Now your stop would just simply be at break even and you're just waiting. Wanted to see some expansion below there, not really getting it. So we'll see what happens. Looking for long? Yeah, you just got out of the trade, I saw. Probably going to just be break even here, but it's still a winning trade, right? Still a winning trade. What's up, Kid Poker?
All right, so we almost pushed that 20. I just could not hop in quick enough, and it was kind of a grindy trade down.
So it's another level of confluence there. Top 5, I'm going to probably pick up some of those Top Step 100K accounts. I went ahead and filled the form out. We'll see. It says $59 and the activation fees included. That's pretty solid on that fire drill they had. I don't know if you saw that. You're probably maxed out on the top 5s. I'm not bearish top 5. I just took a short just because it was a setup. But I have this level here marked out, and we got this up here. Tom Sabo guarantee, or he grows a beard. What up, Pine Tree? So you'd be stopped out right there if you entered at 37.75, and so still a winning trade, right? Still 10 points, even if you waited all the way down there to enter. You think we see the 900s before going higher? Yeah, I mean that's reasonable to think. It could happen. I mean, we are kind of in that lunchtime lull period where we usually.
The only reason why I brought up the 900s is the fact that, that's the wick from that previous 1 hour candle.
Very tight, choppy range on the ES today, too. ES is in a very tight range today. ES is in a 15-point range. What are we in? Probably not much better, really. NASDAQ standards. 174, I guess that's not bad. Guess that's not too. Jen, told me that. Someone said $59 included your activation. I don't know. I don't remember who said that. Now we're getting that blood candle after it stopped us out.
Order
Look at
filled.
that dirtiness.
Let's see if we can take this down to the
Look at that
19.
dirtiness. Just comes back up, stops us break even, and then rips lower.
Oh, I might have didn't wait it long enough to find some support down there.
And there is the wick tagged.
Oh, I didn't notice this high wick over here. Damn it.
914 bounce. Yeah, maybe. We bounced off that area earlier, so it looks reasonable. Retest the IBH at 98 might make sense too.
Or-
Little IBH retest might be a decent spot. I think if we get to IBH, the ES also tests the area, which we bounced off of twice since the open today. Or not since today's open, but since last night. We bounced off. We tested it earlier, bounced off of it here, overnight tested it. Weaker now. We'll see what happens. Does it hold? Does it move down? We'll see what happens. Bouncing off the 22 right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I like that 904 area too. That was kind of a initial balance low from last week. One of those days. 59 and no activation fee. And Top Step X Diego from the fire drill that they had, but I don't know. That's the VIP that has the activation included. What does the VIP mean, though? Oh, okay. They're doing a quiz. I got you. Okay. Well, that might make more sense then. Just went short 4 boats, surpassed the 50K. Let's go. You were on the ending queue? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. That sucks. I mean, now this long trigger might make sense, right? Especially off the 30-second over here. We got a 30-second long setup, 12 handles. This one, 3.5. So the 30-second looks better. Let me check on my Apex payout, see if anything changed. I don't know, Zach. Someone told me in the chat. They may have been mistaken. Still shows under review, so. Kid Poker said dump it. He needs the 86s. All right, now we got like LR here, guys. We really do. Like this is nice low resistance liquidity. We should run through that pretty quickly on the way up there. We can. I'll probably take it on an eval here if we get triggered on it. They would know, Gabriel. They would know. All right, might get my face ripped off here, but I'm going to give this a go here on the eval only. Not in yet, but I'm about to enter. Break even stop will be that wick that you see right up there. Now I'll probably scale there too. I'll probably just go ahead and take it off there. Could maybe go much higher than that, but I think I'll just take it there. Take it at 38s. So the just 8.5 points. I mean, tricky spot here for the stop, really. 22s.
So far, the ES is struggling to move past the VWAP here. So when I took this trade, I freaking didn't notice this huge wick over here. I didn't look far, I guess, quite to the left good enough because might just need to close this shit.
Stop filled.
We want to see
Order
it close
filled.
above the 30-second here at 32s on the 30-second chart would be nice. That kind of is going to tell us that it should go to this wick. But let's see. That's a nasty looking wick right there. Nasty looking wick. Kind of eyeballing the 22 level here. That's where my mental stop will be. Break back above this wick here. The break even will go in play here. So back above this wick at 33.75, the break even stop comes into play. And it's only 4 points away from our entry, so could stop us there, but it's kind of the way we'll play it. You have one self-funded account and one longer-term account. Yeah, I mean, I just trade them one at a time and then kind of, go from there. I do copy trade the five 250Ks together. So like I said, kind of a mental stop around 22 here. ES rejecting at the VWAP there, not looking good. So 30 seconds left on the 1 minute candle. We're going to see how it closes. Closes below 22. We'll take this off and go from there.
Dude, what the fuck just happened?
Looking like we're just going to get stopped here, maybe. Need a fast reaction now if we're going to get it. Not going to get it, doesn't look like. All right, well, I was just going to put my stop in below the low there, but since it ran, I just take it off. So taking a little 10-point loser or so right there. Just continuing to move lower now. Yeah, I think 900's probably in play now. Oh, wait. Maybe we don't get... Let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and get my lunch fixed up here.
So we kind of bounced off that 19.
Let's move this over to the funded account. I'm watching to see how he reacts in the 900, though. That is interesting.
Yeah, baby. Okay.
Nice reaction off IBH right there. Nice clean bounce right off there.
Okay.
915s maybe? I want to push back up here. 912?
Yeah, that's fine.
Makes sense.
All right. Love you. Bye.
There's 912. Almost. One more tick.
Took a quick scalp.
Back there. Can he get to 915 is the question. Did not quite make it to 915, so there. Another bounce.
Yeah, if we push that 19, it should go quick.
All right, if you guys haven't already, hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Give me about 10 minutes here. I got to fix my lunch. And then I'll be right back. 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Just hang out. Appreciate you.
So we're just kind of waiting to see if this 19 is going to hold up. So if we push that 19, it should go quick. All right, there it goes. Well, it's still kind of struggling to get through that 19. Well, the 19 kind of held. I should have poured like a Fibonacci on that just to see if that was kind of like the OTA of. Where did you take your long at, trader? Were you taking it the long off of that 19 for that quick scalp? Oh, you were short. Oh. Oh, after I got stopped.
All right, we got the lunch made. We got it made. So now we got to eat it. Let's eat the lunch. Let's eat the lunch. Couple of cheeseburger wraps, just like yesterday.
Oh, okay. Maybe go get me a quick coffee break since we're kind of in the lunch hour. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes.
Need to get some music going over here. So we're holding IBH right there pretty strong. Finding support. Yeah, that's the thing, Kid Poker. Like, hey, man, taking a $400 loss on the eval's nothing. You know what I mean? Better get out there. I mean, it could go down. We could go lower here. But we are finding support here. Bon appetit. Yes, very good. But yeah, I'd rather you take that loss. I think that's a safe spot to take the loss. And I mean, even if it comes down to 86, don't let it bother you. Think of how you would have felt if you would have blew it, though, Kid Poker, on that move. Think of how you would have felt then. No bueno. Feels like we make it through this area. I don't know how far. this is kind of your area that we were looking at. What up, Lato? LA to BK. LA to Brooklyn? Maybe? I don't know. Well, the problem is LA. Fire drill's going on. Let's go. The problem with LA is like Allen is in here and he's fasting. So, you know, I don't want to tempt him. Lavender, I'm signed up for fast track trading. I'm trying to get the payment to go through. I don't know. Having a problem. LA to Bangkok. Okay, I was close. Brooklyn. Close. ES did lose 19, but I would be wary of a quick reclaim. So I would just be careful there. But to answer your question, Lavender, I have a friend who's already gotten a payout from Fast Track. They paid him, I think it was $3,000. And I have another friend who's using them. So that's why I'm going to give them a try. What up, Nordmark? Oh, let's go, Lavender. You almost at payout? Let's get it. Good job. I mean, if we lose the 19 here on the ES, we probably test 09, but I just be a little weary of it because this area's reclaimed a few times quickly.
Kind of saw this short
Yeah,
coming earlier.
we get a pretty big SMT here. We sure do. I don't think there's a code, Shark. You just got to go over there. They got it pinned in the top of their chat. If you go to Top Step TV, you should see it pinned in the top of the chat. It's a link that you got to fill out usually. I agree. Kid Poker, I agree. And I don't think this is horrible spot to stab short on the ES. If you stab short, then your stop needs to be at 22, 22.50. 5.5, 6 points. Because if we reclaim 22 here on a pushback up, not good for the shorts. So if you are looking to short there, keep that stop reclaim. And remember, on a reclaim, it's not good. You cannot connect them at the same time, Robert. In Ninja, you can only be connected to Bulanox or Apex at the same time. Unless one's a Tradevate account, from what I understand. Yes, at the 15s here. Oh, we're losing the 90. Man.
Order canceled.
AB's long. I don't know, AB. I kind of think we're about to feel like we're about to touch the VWAP down there at 60s. On the NASDAQ, at least. I tend to agree with that, Robert. Yeah, that's one way to do it, Andy. It's two different browsers, two different computers. I think we waterfall into the VWAP here, guys. I got that feeling. As long as we stay below the whole number at 900, I think we push down into the 65s probably. Yeah, Chip. We always feel like we leave some on the table there. Let's see this push down into 65 fast here. I think we go 65 fast. And there it is. And 66. I said 65. Don't make me into a liar. Really? 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 65. Did we actually hit 65? No, we hit 66.25. All right, we got more down. We'll see.
So it looks like we're just kind of
Yeah,
touching that
that's
512 today.
Just went through went right through where you were short from, but
Nice, trader.
room beats aiming for 839. How do we not hit 65 there? It's weird. Annoying. Annoying. Now the line in the sand to me is 900. If it close above, then yeah, things. Kind of think we reject it.
Yeah, I thought we were going short, man. I just got in one candle too early. That's almost like the story of my life there. One candle too early.
Well, let's see. ES retesting the 19. Wow. NASDAQ retesting the IBH. So let's see what happens here. See, I accidentally bumped my desk and Max is barking.
So the 19's kind of like the line in the sand.
All right, let's see if this holds here. We hold below and push back down. I guess that 50 area down there looks pretty interesting as well. We kind of got a little triple bottom down here. Not exact, obviously, but that's an interesting area. I kind of want to take this on my funded, but if we close below 79.50, I'm not going to, but it is intriguing. It's like a push through 75 here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go too. I had to. That was my wife calling a while ago.
Now do we get 65 direct?
I might have to run over to that other house for a minute. So we lost a little bit of our profit off of this eval. We were up over a little $100.
Yep, that's max. Kid Poker, you didn't get long, did you? What'd you do? Were you long or short? I'm looking for the touch of 65 here. No, so I sent a ticket, but they didn't reset them yet. I've already taken one contract off here. Looking for 65. Yeah, I didn't call this trade out, but you guys knew. You guys knew. You said to yourself, methodical man short. I already know. I want to see 65 touch here. Front running the VWAP by a few points I think is reasonable. So that's what I'm trying to do here. 50s seems like a decent target too. So now I'm going to move my stop down to this up close candle. I think that's a reasonable spot.
And this 512 could be possibly a fake breakout, like, you know,
Whatever that is.
kind of bounced off that area also earlier this morning. This was from the London session.
I won't let it bounce on me again. Double bottom there. Trying to give it an opportunity here, but I'm always like 4 or 5 ticks lower than where, you know, it wants to really go. There we go. There we go.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. I have to run a quick errand today.
First day in the Elite Trader funding, 100K here. We're up $2,505. 1 to 2 minis every trade. Taking one loser, I think, on this one today. You guys saw that one. Like I said, I think the trade into 5250 makes a lot of sense. This might